But I was thinking that it might be fun to take just a few minutes to meet your neighbor, and you little Garrett couple, you guys have to talk to someone else. My friend John Garrett and his wife are here from Community Impact newspaper, and if you haven't read that newspaper, you need to. If it's in your community, read it because it's amazing. So, take a second, meet your neighbor, and for 1 minute, try to force feed them your business information. Don't tell them what you like, don't tell them anything about your family. Just give them your card and just be like, you should totally use my business because X. So just take a second to do that and see how much you like it.
It just happens to be the best one in the state. It's a place where dogs can go and play and be dogs. It's not the Hollywood place where we have beds and TVs and stuff for the dogs. It's a place where they can get out and be with other dogs and play. Hard to Anyways, that's the best place you have to come. Today, you should come. You sold? You use what? A newspaper? Or?
It's very thin. Oh, yeah. Okay, guys. How are we doing? I think you're ready to take a little break?
We do. Our bird uses it every day.
Okay, now, you guys actually sound pretty amazing. For people that were just pushing their businesses on each other, you still sound pretty friendly. Okay, so now we're going to take another minute or two, and I just want you to talk about personal things. Talk about your passion, your family, what you love to do. It can't be work-related. You ready?
It can't be?
It can't be?
I don't know. That is my passion. Well, I used to work in advertising. I went invisible, I had a bleeding ulcer at like 25. I was going back to school to get my prereqs to get into teaching school. And I saw a CNI dog stop a guy and falling down the stairs. And I was like, this moment, I was like, why am I going back to school? I want to help dogs, help people. So I started working in a kennel, worked for a trainer, worked at a pet store, just sort of immersed myself in the dog world. And the kennel I worked at had 160 runs, and out of that 160 dogs, like 3 or 4 of them would get out only if they hadn't gone to the bathroom for 3 days. So I saw dogs that were young, energetic, hyper, having all kinds of displacement behaviors because they were stuck in a cage. And I saw fearful, shy, nervous dogs having all kinds of displacement behaviors because they were stuck in a cage. And I asked my boss, why can't we take these dogs out, or why can't we spend time with these dogs? He said, that's not your job. Your job is to feed and clean them, that's it, give them water. And I would try to talk to owners about behavior, so trainer in town. She said, she was like, stop, that's not your job. And I was like, how messed up is that? It's just storage for dogs. No, there's some bad dogs.
Okay, guys.
But
we're going to bring it back.
Oh, yeah. I built my career on everything that people said, you can't do that. You can't have dogs.
Okay, so of those 2 types of networking styles, which style did you like better? That's an easy question.
Right.
Yeah, engaging is more fun, and you feel less threatened because no one's trying to push anything on you. You just want to get to know them better. And after you get to know them, then you're like, oh, I bet their business would be really cool. They're a really cool person. They didn't try to push anything on me. We had I'll tell a story about the waitress that we met last night. We went to BJ's Brew House last night. Has anybody been there? It's a chain, and I'm kind of a pro-local girl, but we went there because we couldn't get into North by Northwest, and our waitress's name was Amanda, and you know, sometimes you get a wait person, and they're like, hi, my name's Courtney. Just let me know if you want anybody want an appetizer? Like, they're really good. Can I start you off with a cocktail, a glass of wine? So anyway, this lady was just much more engaging, and she kind of gave me a lot of eye contact. She winked at me once, she nodded a couple times, and I was like, this lady seems nice. So then she's talking some more, and she said something about, Bart was talking to her about IBUs, International Bitter Units. Is that what it's?
Yeah.
Okay, about, he's a beer connoisseur. So he's asking her about IBUs, which has to do with bitterness in beer. Hoppiness, sorry, not bitterness. To me, it's bitterness. And she said, well, I'm not really sure. I used to know that stuff, but I left here for 5 months and I came back and I just kind of, I need to relearn it. And all I heard was, I left here for 5 months and I came back. And so I said, just out of curiosity, what were you doing for the last 5 months? And she was like, oh, well, I'm in school. I work at a drug rehab center. I work with the chronic, you know, guys that just can't stop. Like, they just keep going back. And she said, it's the worst of the worst. And I said, wow, you must really love that. And she said, it's amazing. I can't get enough of it. Like, I just really want to help these people. And immediately, it was like, I'm getting, like, emotional just thinking about it. We connected immediately, and the rest of our experience, including the beginning, was just amazing. And afterwards, I said, you have just been amazing tonight. And she said, thank you so much. Will you tell someone? She said, because I'm new here, and I transferred from another area, and they told me that they took a risk to take me on. And so we stopped on our way out, and we told the front desk staff, you know, is there a manager here? And she was like, is everything okay? And we said, yeah, actually everything's great. And we just want to make sure the manager knows that Amanda is awesome. And we're really glad that he took that risk. She was like, I will definitely let him know. So that was kind of cool. So try to get people to engage with you when you meet strangers. This is an example. Friendship first, business will follow. This is my web designer, and we're hugging at an Austin Marketing Association party. I met her 10 years ago at a local, it's Choose Austin First, which is no longer an association, but it was a group of local business owners, and she and I knew each other for quite some time before I hired her to be my web designer. I think that I just saw her business card for the first time. She's been my web designer for 10 years. So, this is an example of friendships first, business will follow. Forget about what you do when you meet somebody. Forget about what they do. Just listen between the lines, focus on the friendship, and let everything else just fall into place. Okay. So now we're going to get kind of into the meat of the presentation, which is a lot about social media. So hopefully you guys are interested in finding out more about this. That's what the hold on tight means. We will get past the social media part if that's not your thing, so just hang with me here. This is a Twitter page, and the important thing that I wanted you guys to see is this little web address here, search.twitter.com. It's a place where you can go and look for people that are talking about what you are in business for, or what you're interested in. I love knitting, so I go to search.twitter.com and I type in knitting, and there's all kinds of things that come up. People are talking about patterns and sock summits and all kinds of fun knitting geek things. This was a result for Dog Training Austin. So when I searched for dog training in Austin, I immediately found people that were talking about their businesses and talking about, hey, you know, this is where I'm taking my dog for training and I love it. So it's a good way for you to see what is going on in your community, what people are talking about, and a way for you to, you know, say something in Twitter and get your word out. Okay, now I'm going to teach you ways to do less with more, do more with less in your social media. So one of the things that you can do, does anybody have a newsletter that they send out to their customers? If you do, raise your hand. Oh, just a couple. Okay, so a newsletter, an email newsletter is a great way to reach your customers. It's a great way to keep your business fresh in the minds of your customers and talk about what you've got going on. Now, what we do here is we have a newsletter that we send out just every couple weeks. We don't really like to bombard people with email because I'm sure you all know you get a lot more email than you want. I know I do. So we send out just like a little teaser, and this is maybe a paragraph or a few sentences with just enough information that people want to click on it to read the rest of it. That way you're not force feeding them a whole bunch of information all at once. We did a little book signing here a couple weeks ago. And then I have a little calendar of events on the right there. And at the bottom of that was a link to a blog post. Any bloggers? And the room goes quiet. Another great way to get your word out. Blogging is basically free. There's lots of places to do it. WordPress, Blogger, all kinds of. WordPress.org is my favorite. But what I do is I send out the newsletter with a link to the blog so that people can read the whole article if they choose. In the process of doing that, I switched email marketing clients and had to re-invite all of my mailing list, which was a little bit scary because I had 2,000 or 3,000 people on my mailing list and only about 900 of them resubscribed. But then I knew those were all people that wanted to get my newsletter. And now my open rate has gone from 20% to 80% because people wanted to subscribe to it. So that was actually a good thing. Okay, connecting your blog to Facebook. Or you can connect lots of things to Facebook. If you do any kind of social media, we're going to talk about that too. This is actually set up inside Facebook in the notes section. There's a setting where you can say, anytime I post to this blog, update my status. And it only works for pages, not your personal Facebook page. So if you have a company and you want to promote it, create a Facebook page called a fan page. And that way you can have as many followers as you want. Certain kinds of pages you have a limit to the number of followers, I think. Okay, look, it's Bart, everybody. So Bart has, with our fitness company, he has a video blog. And he came to me, I don't know, a couple months ago now, because he just finished 60 Days of Insanity, which is awesome. He's lost all kinds of weight, and I'm really, really proud of him. And he came to me and said, I want to do a video blog. And I said, are you crazy? A, we've never done it before. B, I don't know how to edit video. C, I'm the techie. That means I'm going to have to do all that. I don't have time for that. Well, within 24 hours, I had figured out how to do it, and we were doing it. And I'm still a few days behind on getting the rest of the 60 days up. But he did all the hard work, working out every day, and I stayed up at night and did the little, made the little blogs and posted it to Facebook, where we set it up in YouTube to post automatically to his Facebook page. And it's been great. It's been a great experience for both of us. He's gotten super healthy and lost all his weight, and I am now an experienced video editor. So, just because you don't know how to do something doesn't mean you can't try. A lot of people say, like, Twitter, I don't don't know how to do that. Well, you don't really have to know how to do it. All you have to do is set up an account and set up Facebook to talk to Twitter, which you do within Facebook, and it's done. You post to Facebook, which everybody is already doing, and it just automatically goes to Twitter. You don't have to go to both places. You can just go to one, which is nice. Okay, so here's another example of linking Facebook to Twitter. This is a post we had this week. We had 2 giant, lovely Great Pyrenees that came and stayed with us for 69 nights. While their owners had moved to Melbourne, Australia, and these dogs needed to make the trip, and they were not crate trained. So they came and stayed with us, and Paula and her team got them ready for their long flight to Australia. And we had a last-minute need to take them halfway to Houston, which turned out lovely, but it was a little bit crazy at the time. So we took some pictures when that all happened, and I posted it to Facebook, and this is what I was talking about. It automatically posts to Twitter for me. There's my noodle. I love that, dogs. Okay, so anybody heard of Google Plus? Raise your hand if you've heard of Google Plus. Raise your hand if you're using Google Plus. Okay, so hands. Oh, Paula, I got Paula in. Okay, so a lot of people think Google Plus is just like Facebook. They're like, what's the difference? Google Plus, Facebook. Now I got to go to 2 places to post my status. I don't know if I want to do that. Well, the difference between Google Plus and Facebook is that if you have a Google account and you're logged in to Google Plus, you also have access to your Gmail account, a Google Calendar, which is a great way to keep track of all of your activities online. You can access from your phone or from your smartphone or from your computer. You can share documents. You can put documents online like Word documents and Excel documents. There is a paid service if you want to do it on a grand scale, but it's free if you're just doing a couple things. You can share photos. You can keep track of all your blogs on the Google Reader, and obviously search Google for pretty much anything you want to know. And John, I'm sure you know this because you're very tech savvy. But if you have a question and you don't know the answer, Google it. Google will tell you anything that you want to know. I type in like, why do my legs itch at night? Why is my skin so dry on my shins? Google has an answer. I swear, there's like, oh, here's 100 dermatology sites and 5 articles just about that exact topic. Super. So once I got my iPhone, which was a few years ago now, every time Bart asked me a question, I was like, oh, I'll find out. So we're having to teach me to unplug now. Because I'm very curious, and if I can find the answer out, I want to know it. Okay, now we're going to talk about getting informed. Noodle is actually not supposed to be reading this book because he's a boy. But he was not amused with my photo taking that day. He was like, hello, I'm napping. Please leave me alone. I tried to get glasses on him, but he wouldn't go for it. Okay. One of the things that I would encourage you to do is to be a sponge. Anytime you have free time, and a lot of you probably read. I know my mom's a big fiction reader, and I just can't seem to get into fiction. I love different kinds of books, but there's blogs on pretty much any topic that you want to know about. If you don't want to write a blog, read a blog. There are so many great blogs out there, and some that are really not so great. But you can figure it out pretty easily. All you have to do is read a post or 2 and you're good to go. So this blog right here, Dog Star Daily, is actually a website that has blog posts that update every day. They have lots of trainers, dog trainers that go on and post all these articles about positive training. So I'm very interested in keeping up with that. This is the CEO of Beachbody, which is the mother company for the fitness company that we do on the side. So I read his blog. He's has lots of positive motivational things to say, and I like listening to him. This is actually a friend of ours, and this is a great, for those of you who are interested in taking a passion that you have and turning it into a business, listen to this story. This is a good friend of Bart's who he met through Beachbody. She's a fitness coach too, and she is an attorney, She has 2 kids. Her husband is well, that's just the tip of his little head right there. I didn't, sorry. His name is Randy. He is a Navy pilot that was deployed by the Army and actually went to work for the Army for over a year. So he was gone from his family for over a year, and she thought, how am I going to cope? I'll blog about it. So she started blogging and blogging and blogging. And she's talking about basically being a single mother, having a husband that's deployed and not being able to talk to him except every once in a blue moon when he Skypes in, and she doesn't know when that'll be. And she has got national recognition for this blog. And now he's just about to come home, and she's turning this blog into a book. Every single post is going to go into a book, and it's going to help other women that have deployed husbands. How wonderful is that? And she's like, I don't want to be a lawyer. I want to be a writer. Great. Now she can be. All starting from one little blog that she thought nobody was going to read. So, if you ever get a chance, even if you don't have anybody in the military, it's a great blog. It's called Witty Little Secret. Okay, podcasts. If anybody has a smartphone or iTunes, you can actually download podcasts that are... Away from my mom. I'm just giving you a hard time. It's Dad calling. He knows I'm speaking.
He's lost.
Oh, God love him. Okay. So, podcasts are audio radio shows that you can download and listen to for free. You can find them on just about every subject, anything that you're interested in. It's great for listening to in the car, or if you're waiting for an airplane or anything like that, or waiting at the doctor's office. You can be learning and growing your mind. This American Life is just my favorite. It's just about all things in our country. It's just amazing. It's a public radio podcast from WBEZ in Chicago. Planet Money is also great. It's an NPR. This is a public radio station in New York. It's called Radio Lab, and it's all about just how things work, what makes things tick. Very interesting. And Texas Vet Pets, I just put up as an example of something you can look for in your industry. Love, love, love podcasts. And if you set them up on your phone, they update automatically. So after you listen to it, it goes to the next one. And when new ones come, they download. You don't ever have to go online and look for them. They just come to you. Okay, reading. This is what I was talking about. My mom likes fiction. I like personal development. This is a book that Jerry has read. It's called Personality Plus by Florence Littauer. And for those of you who don't know anything about this book, it is one of many personality books that helps you understand your personality and the personalities of other people so that you can better relate to them. It teaches you, and it's something that I've really learned a lot about recently, that not everybody is just like you, and so don't try to make everybody fit into this specific kind of mold. Come at them from their angle and from their personality. So it basically breaks people down into 4 different personalities. How am I doing on time? So far, so good. There's 2 extroverted personalities and there's 2 introverted personalities. And when I describe these personalities, if you hear yourself, you can raise your hand and say, okay, that's me. If you don't want to, if you're embarrassed or whatever, no one's going to say, you never raised your hand. Trish, sorry, you gotta pick a hand. Okay, so the first one is my personality type, the popular sanguine. Positive sides to the popular sanguine are very outgoing, loves talking to people, very friendly, energetic, a big idea person. The downside, kind of lacks focus, a little bit unorganized. Volunteers for 100 things, follows through on about 5. So, that I have to work on organization. And that's what my boss, Bart, has to help me with. Okay, the next extroverted type is the powerful choleric. And these are all based on Hippocrates, is that right? The blood types or something? It's not blood types, it's bile. Humors, thank you, Julia. She studied all this. The powerful choleric is a very strong leader, usually right, very confident, isn't afraid to tell you exactly what they think, but can come across as a little bit bossy and not really a good listener. Is that anybody feeling powerful choleric? Okay, so those are the two, and you can be blends of these types, so don't think that we're just trying to push you into one. The third type is an introverted type, the perfect melancholy, which is introspective, artistic, deep thinker, very thoughtful, loyal, funny, but easily discouraged and gets depressed, needs encouragement, gives up easily, and we had a perfect melancholy moment this morning with my daughter. She was sitting at home doing her homework this morning at 6:30 because she had put off some of it, and she just started crying, and I said, "What's going on?" And she was like, "I just have so much work, I'm just not going to be able to get it all done. And we have a substitute today, and I don't like the substitute." And I was just like, "Oh, Gabby, it's going to be okay." So I sat with her, and I was late today because I sat with her and helped her do her homework, and we got it all done, and she was fine once she was okay, past the homework hump, and I just said, let's talk about that substitute after school. You can just tell me all about her. I'm sure she's going to be horrible. I didn't say that, but it's good to help her talk about it. So, and then the last one is the peaceful phlegmatic. This is, Bart, can I out you here? This is my husband's type. Too late, I already did it. He is, and the peaceful phlegmatic is a great mediator, wonderful with all kinds of people, great listener, also very loyal. I'm trying to think what else. Just wants everybody to be happy. Just wants everybody to be calm and doesn't want conflict. The downside to the peaceful phlegmatic is they don't really want to get up and do stuff. You have to kind of push them, They're like, "Well, I'll go to that, but don't make me talk to anybody." So the peaceful phlegmatic needs a little motivation, needs a little push sometimes. The perfect melancholy needs encouragement. The powerful choleric wants to be listened to. They want to know that their idea is probably one of the best ideas you've heard. They want to know that their input counts. So, knowing these things about your personality and other people, once you read this book, you can start to see people, just as soon as you meet them, you're like, "Oh, that's a perfect melancholy." They're like, "Well, I was in traffic today. God, I haven't eaten. I'm just so I just don't know how the day is going to go." And you're like, "I'm sure it's going to be fine. It's going to be great. You're going to do it. I believe in you." I used to hear perfect melancholies and think, "God, they're so negative." But now I think, wow, they just really need encouragement. It totally changed the way I saw those people. So I would highly recommend this book. It does have a little religious reference, so just, if you're not into that, then just read right on past it. Okay, so Ann Pritchard and I have both had great ideas. We both love Eat That Frog. If you have not read it, I would highly recommend it. It's about procrastination and how to get stuff done. There's 21 different short rules. It's an easy read, and the 80-20 rule, which actually I must have taken out of my presentation, basically says that 20% of your work counts for 80% of your success. So you just have to focus on what that 20% needs to be, and you'll have a lot less work on your hands. One of the rules is plan every day in advance. So before I go to bed at night, I try to at least jot down a quick list of stuff that I have to get done tomorrow. These are must-dos. And I make myself stop at 10 because how are you going to get more than 10 things done in one day? I mean, it's possible. But if you run out, you can always add more to your list, you know? Just don't overwhelm yourself. That's what I'm saying. And number 8 is the law of 3. So it says identify 3 things that count for 90% of your work and get those things done first. Most of us do just a few major things that are part of our daily routine that are the most important things we need to be doing. And since I'm sanguine, I have a hard time focusing, so I have to really think about that. Okay, if you've never heard of Gary Vaynerchuk, go home and look this guy up. He is really, really cool. He's like a social media king, and he's all over YouTube, and he says it like it is, and he's really interesting to listen to. He's a Northeasterner, so he kind of has a funny accent, and he does this video show where the camera's pointing at him, and he's like, this, and this, and then that, and then he's got the camera like, there's like, there must be cameras all around him. But anyway, this book is called Crush It. And when I was reading this book, I could not put it down. It was like every chapter I was like, oh, I gotta highlight that. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. It's all about finding your passion and turning it into a business so that you're doing what you absolutely love, which we're already doing, aren't we, Bart? We love what we're doing. But it talks about using social media to make it just go pow, which is really cool. Passion is everything. It talks about building your personal brand. It even talks about if you work for someone else and you don't have your own company, that building your personal brand is like building your resume. You need to always be working on people knowing who you are, whether you're self-employed or not. And then creating great content if you want to write articles, blog posts, if you just want to speak in public or anything like that. He talks a lot about creating content that people actually want to read. And then he has a chapter called The Best Marketing Strategy Ever. And you get to that page and it just says, care. Questions? Gary@VaynerMedia.com or something like that. That is what this is all about. If you want to know how to get your company to be better than your competitors, that's all you have to do. That's all we do, right, Trish? She knows. That's why she's here. That's why she's one of our customers, because we care so much. So, great, great book. I would highly, highly recommend that. This is his second book, which I'm actually only halfway through, but I'm also loving. It's called The Thank You Economy. And he talks about how even though society has changed as much as it has, really as people, all we want is to be listened to and to be cared for. So all we want is for people to engage with us. And that is very much like it was when our grandparents were young. You know, you had a local general store, you knew all of your customers by name, you knew when they had a cousin or a spouse pass away or get sick. And that's what people don't get anymore with business. That's what they want. They just want you to care. So he talks about caring, how society is changing, but people aren't, how to instill the right culture in your company from the top. And he talks about, which you guys are going to love, my awesome managers over here. He talks about building your culture from a perspective where your employees are the only thing that matters. Where everything is based on what's good for your staff. That's good, right? And so let me give you an example. His employees at his company, guess how much vacation they get? Anybody have a guess? Not you, you know. As much as they want. You need a lot of vacation? Take it. It means you're going to be a lot more loyal to me as a business owner. You need less? Take less. But when you're working, you give 110%. Which is a great concept. I'm still curious to know financially how it works out, but I love the idea. So I'm going to finish the book before I make any strong decisions. And then he talks about the beautiful date between traditional and social media. You would think as a social media guy, he would be just really into only social media. But what he says is, if you combine the two and you marry the two, they can really work beautifully together. So you put in a print ad in Community Impact newspaper, and you say, hey, visit our Facebook page for an extra 20% off. If you like our company, you get an extra bonus. Or you do a commercial, or, well, I'm not really ready to do a commercial on TV, but there's a lot of companies that could do a commercial and then send people to their Facebook page or their Twitter page. And once someone signs up for your Facebook page, if you have a company Facebook page, you immediately know the age, the gender, the income level of all those people. You have immediate access to the demographics of the people that are watching what you're doing. Okay, and then he gives real life examples. Companies that either did it right or didn't, and how it worked out for them. Okay, finally, Success Magazine, something that I really have enjoyed in the past year. We subscribed to this since December, and not only do they have really good articles just about personal success, not even necessarily about business success, really positive, really motivational articles, and every month comes with, and I don't get paid by these people, just FYI, I'm getting nothing for any of that. So you know it's coming from my heart. Really, every month you get a CD with audio interviews from some of these people. And this month's CD, I got to listen to Dr. Oz, which was kind of cool. It was like he was in my car. So that's a great magazine if anybody is looking for inspiration. Okay, we're at the recharge zone. So as you can tell, Noodle gets a lot of time to recharge. He is a lounger. Okay, so what I would recommend is that you take a piece of paper, and you don't have to do it today. You can just sort of process this when you get home if you want. But basically what we're looking for is identifying what is good for us and what we want in our life. And I've written down some examples. These are just my examples. You can come up with your own, or you can write down these. And again, I told you I'm happy to share this presentation if you don't want to write all this down. So for physical, I want to get daily exercise. I want to exercise 5 times a week. A lot of people say, oh, you're skinny, you don't need to exercise. Well, I have chronic pain. I have digestive problems. I need to be healthy. And so that's really important to me. And Bart is a great model of that. Self-care, including sleep. A lot of people, especially women, I think, really put off their own needs because they're caring for their children, or they're caring for, they're just totally engrossed in their business, and so they, they just don't take care of themselves. Have you ever, and I know somebody besides me has done this, have you ever said, I don't have time to go to the bathroom right now? Mm-hmm. I'm too busy to go to the bathroom. Like, what? That is not good. You need to go to the bathroom. Okay. So a lot of these, I'm taking notes for myself, just FYI. I have not reached the pinnacle of my 4 quadrants here. Nutritional supplements, vitamins, nutrition, just getting the supplements that you need, and making healthy food choices. Everybody says, I want to lose weight, and then they're just like slurping on their giant Diet Dr. Pepper. Just think about what you're putting in your body, and that's going to give you back. What you take in is what's going to come out. If you're taking care of yourself, it's going to help you. Emotional/relationships. So I put date night / girls night. It doesn't mean that date night is as important as girls night. Date night is more important than girls night. But if you don't have a significant other or a spouse, then go out with your girlfriends once a week or once a month. Learn to say no. Anybody have a problem saying no? Just a few of us. That's good. That means we're getting stronger.
Beyond that now.
I'm still learning that. Has anybody ever heard Renee Trudeau speak? She's a local motivational speaker and expert on balance. She has given me a sheet of paper once called 9 Ways to Say No. And one of them was, I would love to, but my dance card is full. Which is kind of cute. Okay, this is a big goal for me. When you are with the people that you love, be 100% engaged. Because it's really easy for me to check my email while I'm with my daughter, and by the third time I say, what? She's like, Mom, I've said it 3 times. Put your phone down. I'm like, oh, she got me. So, I'm learning this one, being engaged. So I'm trying to focus my time a little better so that when I am with my family, I am 100% with my family. Speaking the truth in love, that means being honest with the people that you talk to. And it's really hard for a lot of us to do that. It's hard for me to do that. But that's one of the things that is really good for me. And Marcella, you're teaching me a lot about that because you're learning that too. Okay, spiritual. Find peace with the people that you encounter. I mean, I know everybody has people in their lives that over the years may have done them wrong, or maybe they harbor some ill will, not ill will, but just ill feelings about this person or that. Just come to terms with that. It's a lot better for you if you just let it go. If you have a church or a synagogue or a temple, or if you aren't a spiritual person, if you have a great place in your backyard or in your, some place that you can go and just get quiet, just think about where you are and where you want to be. Helping others is something that is good for a lot of people. If you help others too much, it's not good. But if you don't help others at all, it's not good for you either. It helps to give back to the community a little bit, within limits. You can't say yes to everybody. And make a sanctuary. This is something that I like. My sanctuary is my bathtub. Like, I got candles, I bring in my little iPad, I have some music, and it's my quiet place. I lock the door so the kids can't come in. That's where I recharge. Okay, mental/wealth. I think these could be 2 separate quadrants, or 2 separate categories actually. Personal development. My goal is to read a personal development book every month, just to try to grow as a person. Living within your means. This is really good stress reliever. If you have a budget and you stick to it, it can really help you out. Because living in debt is no fun. This is a new one for me. Start a bucket list. Does anybody have a bucket list? All right. Okay, a few of you. I want to do that. It's on my bucket list to start a bucket list. Or a dream board, which is like, a little quilted thing you keep up and you cut out pictures in magazines and go, one day I'm gonna have that home in Malibu or whatever. That's not on my dream board, but I'm just giving an example. And doing something that you love. For me, that's knitting. I love to knit, and every time I knit with my little girlfriends, it totally recharges me. So everybody has something that they love to do, a craft, spending time with a pet, or I'm sure everybody has something you're thinking about in your mind right now. Just try to make time for that, because it's really important. The only way you can help other people is if you take care of yourself. So yeah, do more of it. This is a little art project that I was a part of downtown in the UT area. It was called a Knitted Wonderland, and we all took part in knitting sweaters for these trees. It was really cool. Like, it was ugly yarn, and it wasn't my choice of colors, but when it all came together, I was like, wow, 99 trees covered in sweaters. That was cool. We knit, basically, we measured the trunk all the way up to the branches, and then we knit basically a rectangle, and then we all met in one night and sewed them all up. Yeah, we just like whip stitched them up the back of the tree. So you guys might see one of those at Dog Boys soon. I got our knitted tree cozy. So as soon as it gets cold, if it ever gets cold, I'm going to put it on our tree at Dog Boys. So that's what I'm saying. Just figure out what it is you love doing and do more of it. And then manage change by just letting go of some things. Letting go of some things that you tell yourself, like, oh, I didn't get to do that. It's just not good. Just let it go. Just let it go and learn to say no. So, I love that picture. Very peaceful. Okay, so if anybody has questions afterwards, I can either answer questions now or you can email me. These are the two websites where you can find us, where we're posting content and keeping people up to date. But thank you so much for your time today. It's been really great.
Does anyone have a question for Courtney?
I've answered everyone's questions.
You answered every question. Well, I want to say thank you on behalf of the Women's Chamber for conducting this workshop for us. You helped me so much talking about melancholy.
Aw.
You would think that because I read the book that, I already know this stuff already, but my daughter has a lot of melancholy in her. When you said they just need encouragement, I was like, that's what I'm supposed to
That's
do.
it. You can't say, don't be negative, because that doesn't fix anything.